Hey YouTube, Lagmas Prime here, and today starts a new day where I'm going to start reviewing some games that I've played. I tend to play games a lot, buy a lot of them, play the hell out of them, and then kind of form an opinion. And today, we're starting out with this little indie game called Lootbound. I found it while I was browsing the Xbox Game Store, and it's relatively cheap, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what it has to offer. So, Lootbound is what I would like to call an inventory management roguelike that is turn-based and even has some dice rolls thrown in. But before you begin the game, you have to choose a character, and this game offers you four for right now. There is the warrior, the witch, the bard, and the paladin. But when you first start off, you'll only have access to the warrior, and if you beat the boss once, then you'll be able to unlock the witch, and then if you beat it twice, you'll be able to unlock the bard. Each character giving their own set of skills or abilities that you can use, and will progressively get better as you move further into the game. Each character has a specific damage type that they start out with. The witch has acid, the warrior has slashing damage, the paladin has crush damage, and I don't know what the bard has. It's some kind of magical damage. But each damage type does something different. So slashing will deal increased damage to health, crush damage will deal increased damage to armor. Meanwhile, it seems like any magical damage that you have tends to just go straight through armor and hits their health bar directly. And I won't lie, the game seems pretty inspired by Slay the Spire and Slay the Spire 2, at least in terms of the map and the routing of what you go through to progress through the game. After every battle or when you start an adventure, you pull out a map, and this map will give you either a singular path or a branching path that you can choose from to figure out where you want to go and how you want to plan your progression through here. Do you want to go to the left where a blacksmith would be to maybe get a gem to increase some stats, or should you go to the right to go to a training section and increase your personal stats? Usually blacksmiths are like for weapons, and training is usually for personal stats like critical damage or your critical chance or anything like that. But after every battle, you will gain some loot. And whenever you gain loot, you have the option to either equip it right away or put it in your backpack. And that's kind of where this gameplay loop kind of comes into play. You progress further and further. Every battle will get you more gear, better gear, or even worse gear. Going against elite enemies will get you better loot, and you'll even get the selection to choose 2 items. And there are even certain events that you could go to, like a treasure chest, which will give you more loot options, or you can go to a blacksmith to increase stats on your items, or maybe training for personal stats. Or even accessing a deity where you sacrifice some of your mana in order to gain a guaranteed divine item, which is even higher than legendary. But you're not alone in this adventure. You can actually recruit NPCs to help fight with you, apply debuffs, or heal you. In this playthrough, I went with the bard. And you don't take control of these. These are NPCs. They will attack on their own. They'll have their own effects, and usually an effect that'll activate when somebody reaches half health. Not only that, these NPCs can have loot equipped to them as well. And as you continue progressing through the game and beating the bosses and clearing objectives, all kinds of stuff, you will actually be able to unlock more abilities that these NPCs can use. So not only could they heal you, you could instead switch it to more of a damaging role. And one thing that I do really like about the game is that they have this little dice mechanic in there. Now, you won't see it all the time. This usually only occurs whenever you're trying to upgrade some stats or get some better gear through these events. Now, when you enter these events, you're given 3 options. A basic option, which will give you either a low stat increase or a very low item. A middle option, which is just a little better. And then a third option, which will be even higher. But in order to get the second option or the third option, you'll need to roll for it and see if you actually succeed. But if you don't succeed, you're actually able to roll an additional die that you're able to roll a certain amount of times throughout your playthrough, and it has the possibility to help you, but it's not always guaranteed. But you can unlock additional die through the game by collecting the currency in the game, which is called memory shards. And these memory shards will unlock different die that you can use whenever you first start the game, and each one of them having various different effects, or even upgraded through events. There's also the adventure die, which will give you 1 guaranteed failure, 1 guaranteed success, but the rest will give you various bonuses. Now, one thing that I find truly unique about this game is that you actually get to decide what abilities or attacks or things like that your boss will be doing whenever you go against it. The game has 3 stages, and at the very end of every single stage, you are given an option of what the boss will do, attack, or various other effects. Like, do you want the boss to attack the highest attack power person on your team and potentially increase their critical hit power and reduce the person's fortitude? Or would you like the boss to have more armor and health? Or would you want it to have more critical hit chance and lower your initiatives or other various stats that go back and forth? But I really do like this because it kind of helps circumvent this thing that happens with a lot of roguelikes, where if you're not getting the items you need or you're not getting the buffs that you really want, you can kind of change the boss a little bit in your favor to potentially give you at least a chance to beat it. Because there's a lot of roguelikes out there where if you're not getting the optimal build or you're not getting the right cards you need, the right gear you need, you're not getting the right abilities or stats, then when you go to fight the boss, you are out of luck. There's nothing that you can do. But there is a sense of satisfaction being able to choose what the boss will be doing, who they'll be targeting, or what abilities they'll have. Like, I know for certain I always want it to focus or attack the defender. Granted, yes, it will still have AoE attacks, but it won't be focusing my main healer, it won't be focusing my main damager, it will at least be attacking the one with the most defense. And after you beat the boss, you get sent back to the main menu where you can spend your memory shards again on either upgrading your characters for more better stats like mana, crit chance, or even slashing damage, something like that, or even spending the memory shards to unlock die to make your progression through levels faster. The game is actually quite unique and fun with the various builds that you could do, the various loot that you can find, and the multitude of abilities that you can equip to some of these NPCs that you can recruit. And I do know that there are a good few of these like inventory management RPG things out there. I think they are starting to be on the rise a little bit. I'm only seeing a few here and there, but this game definitely gets inspired a little bit from Slay the Spire. For the price that it is, it's definitely a good game, very unique. There is only one thing that I would say I kind of wish they would change. I wish that you could kind of flip the items in your inventory, because there's many times where I'm like, if I could just flip it, I'd be able to fit it into my backpack or fit it into my equipment and maybe get a few more items in here or there. Because some of the items in the game are really huge and will take up a bunch of space. Not only that, some of them kind of have these little extra squares, so it makes it really weird to actually kind of place in the inventory or equipment. But I understand these limitations. You have to have that or else you'd be able to equip everything. But one other thing that I think would be quite interesting, in the game, whenever you get these equipment, they will sometimes have this aura effect. So if it's placed next to a certain item or the correct items, you will be able to get these increased stats on those additional items. So it's like an aura thing. You place something next to this thing, it gains all of these beneficial effects, which are really cool. But there's another game that does this inventory management thing, and it's actually a mobile game that I used to play. It was called like Backpack Arena Fantasy Battle, and it has this very similar way of managing your inventory where you're able to turn it around left and right, and you place items next to the other to gain additional effects. But it was an auto battler. You didn't choose abilities, and I think you did have passives as these characters. But one unique thing that this game did is whenever you place these items next to each other, after a battle, it would actually combine into a new, more enhanced weapon. And you could upgrade these weapons constantly throughout the game, and they can go from a common weapon all the way up to a legendary or mythic. Like, it'd have all these unique beneficial effects. And when I played Lootbound, I was kind of wanting this to happen because, like, the way it works or the way the inventory management kind of functions, it seems like it would have that. But don't get me wrong, like, it's fine. Like, the game is great the way it is. It doesn't need to do this in any way. Simplicity is sometimes better than trying to make it super complex. All in all, though, the game is quite fun, especially for its price point. It's pretty cheap, and it'll give you definitely some replayability. I definitely will be going back into it every now and again. I will say, though, that it doesn't quite give me a wow factor. It is really fun, though, to play. It's more like a casual experience. So I'm going to give it like a 7.5 or 7. Probably just stick with a 7. It's definitely well above average. You'll definitely get some good gameplay and replayability in it. And if they add some more stuff, I will check it out. But that's going to be it for me and this review. I hope you enjoyed the video. If the game does come out to Game Pass, I would say give it a try and see what you think. If not, the game is actually relatively cheap to be able to buy and play, so there is also that. But once again, the game is a 7 out of 10 for me. I will say check it out if you want to, but I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you later.